Golden Boy. Originally a manga written by Tetsuya Igawa and released in Super Jump from 1992 to 1997. It ran about 10 volumes, and then there's Golden Boy 2 that ran for an additional 2 volumes decades later, none of which have been released in the US. But we did get the anime, and we actually have had this for quite a while, but this is the modern Blu-ray release that came from Discotek about 2 days ago. At the time of recording, this came out now. I got my pre-order in yesterday at time of recording, and I watched it immediately. It's only 6 episodes, it runs for about 3 hours, and it's not super long. But it is a very, I will say, before getting to the show, this is a very good release. If you do enjoy the show, or if you just want to watch it, this is a great way to watch it. It has both episodes that you can watch, or it's all on one disc, so you can just hit play all, and it plays all the episodes back to back. I do wish they would have cut, for the play all, some of the ending to it. Like, they play the credits, and then play, like, the little coming next stuff, and, like, you could probably cut that during a play all, but outside of that, it looks fantastic. The audio quality is great. Everything about this release is perfect, and if you are interested in watching Golden Boy, cannot recommend this release enough, and it's also only like $30. It's not super expensive for a complete series. But again, it's also only 6 episodes, so it's not like it's a ton of content either way. But with all that out of the way, the actual show is great. Now, to be fair, it is a 90s anime, and not based on a 90s manga, that is very explicit, and it's really just a sex comedy. Like, that the whole show is about him trying to the whole show is about him flirting with women. Every episode there's a new woman he's trying to attract, and obviously the mileage there can vary. But what I like about this show is that on the surface, while that's what it's about, basically every episode has him not really trying that hard to be with these women, and instead he learns life lessons along the way. But you can kind of see that even though he's flirting with these women, he's very obviously attracted to them, and that's kind of the whole comedic shtick of the show. Most of the time he spends writing down notes about life and like how to do things. In the first episode, for example, he learns how to code on a computer, which in the 90s was a bigger deal than it is now. In the second episode, he works for a political campaign. By the end of the series, he's making an animated movie. And throughout the series, he's picking up new jobs, and that's kind of his whole thing. He's what's called a freeter. He works part-time, low-pay jobs, and he kind of just drifts across Japan, doing whatever to pick up money. He did go to college, but he dropped out of university after completing all of his courses, just to travel and make money doing odd jobs. And that's kind of the whole show. Every episode, he's in a new place, working a new job, and doing something else, and it's fun. I could watch 10 more episodes of this without a problem. Each episode is a lot of fun. Every episode introduces a new cast of characters that are all endearing to some degree, either positively or negatively. And most importantly, he's funny. Like, I watched it in the English dub, which I know a lot of people don't really like the dubs, but if you've seen anything else on this channel, I don't really like subtitles that much. I do tolerate them when necessary, but if there's an English language version, I'm almost always going to go with that, especially on an anime where the voice just kind of matches the face naturally. It doesn't take a whole lot to change that. It does look kind of weird in live action, I'll give you that, but in animated form, I don't think it really matters, so I'd much rather not have to read it. I'd rather just listen. And honestly, I think that was the best decision because the voice for Kentaro in this show, the main character, is hysterical. It is exactly what you think he sounds like, and at least to me, This!
A black bra! Life is a mystery. I love the research!
So, how do you like my swimming?
Oh, yes! My queen! Oh, yeah!
He makes every line significantly more funny than I think it would be otherwise. Just the way he reacts, the way the character emotes also helps a lot, but it just is so exaggerated. and so over the top that it is a lot of fun. And while the rest of the cast is doing perfectly fine work, there are some notable voice acting choices going on, but most of them are minor characters. Early in episode 1, there's a super, a super preppy sounding character. It's just like a background character. But it's very funny. Like, you hear her on screen, and it's, like, it sounds so ridiculous. It's funny. And this happens quite a bit throughout the show, where you'll just see these one-off characters who just sound so poor, like it's such bad voice acting that it actually adds to the comedic effect of the show. I would say that this is not the case for most of the female cast that he's attracted to, like the main women in each episode. They all kind of have that same very sexualized voice, which, again, that's just kind of what the show is. You kind of got to get past that. If you're going to watch the show, you kind of have to get used to the idea that the entire show is, at least at a surface level, about him being attracted to these women, and they are all very heavily sexualized. I would say this is most notable in episodes 1, 2, and 5. Episode 1 and 5 are probably the best episodes in the series, regardless. Just the rest of the plot points throughout the episode kind of make up for some of the over-the-topness, especially episode 5. Episode 5 is the very famous, that you probably have seen, and if you know this show, this is probably why. It's the bike scene, him racing against a motorcycle on his mountain bike, and he rides like telephone lines, and he's jumping over a cliff. Very funny. The meme itself is very funny, but in general, in this show, it is also just great. It works very well in the show, especially in context once you know a little bit more about him as a character. But also, episode 1 has the also famous spit scene. Again, the meme is funny, but in the show, it is also very funny. Like, it works exactly the way you think it does, and that's fun. Those 2 episodes are probably the best. I'd say episode 6 is also very good. It ties the series together with everyone that he's met in the past, coming together to help make this animated movie. It's very meta in that this is obviously animated, but they talk about how animation works and how it happens, and everyone kind of comes together to make this happen, and then he disappears again, which is what he does in every episode, and it's a lot of fun. I would say episode 2, on the other hand, the other very sexualized episode, is not very good. It's the only episode, I think, that has the weird anime trope of, like, minors. The main girl in that one is a high school student. He's a college dropout. The age difference is obviously there, and it comes across a little weird. To be fair, he does get the shit kicked out of him, which is a lot of fun, but it's also one of the more explicit episodes, and while the show is not, like, porn-based in any way, it is a little more explicit, especially in that episode. Again, episode 5 is also very explicit, but at least that's an adult. This one is a little more explicit than some of the others, and it comes across not great, but that's something you kind of just get used to with anime. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just how some old anime are. You kind of just have to move past it. And in this case, I think it is worth moving past. Like, that's not a very good episode to begin with. It's just the least fun episode across the series. Outside of that, like, just the episode itself isn't a ton of fun. So if you kind of just skip that episode, the rest of the series is great. And even if you do watch the episode, like, yeah, it's not good, but, like, it's not so much worse that it's, like, horrendous. It's not dragging the series down. It's just a little bit more awkward, and it makes the series feel a little off, whereas the rest of it is very explicitly about adults, and it makes it being about adults just makes it a lot more enjoyable. For me, that worked better. I like when it's just adults. But in this case, the rest of the series is great. While I didn't really talk about episodes 2 to 4, they're fine. They're all good. Each one has its own little job and plot that it goes through, and one he's working in a political campaign, one he's making noodles, one who works at a flower shop or something. They're all fine. They're all good. I would say, really, though, 1 and 5 are the 2 best episodes, and then 6 really does put a nice bow on the series. Overall, I would say definitely watch the show if you are interested in older anime, especially older comedies. This is a lot better than I expected. Considering its most popular thing is just 2 memes that are, they're just mean. Like, they're just people making fun of other things. It actually comes together as a good show in and of itself. I really wish the manga had been translated to English officially, you know, released, because I would buy it. I would buy the manga if it came out. And especially if this does well, we'll get the manga. Considering this is a nothing anime that most people probably aren't super interested in, the fact that it not only got a Blu-ray release, but also like a pretty quality one and with some good packaging is surprising. Anime tends to get kind of crappy releases a lot of times. I know it's gotten better over the years, but outside of like major anime, a lot of the lower budget, smaller or less popular stuff gets some pretty crappy releases, or just doesn't get a real release at all. Not only does stuff not get translated to English in general, but sometimes it just gets like a random shitty DVD release 50 years ago that no one remembers, and you don't get anything again. So it's really nice to see this have a nice quality, accessible release now. I think the meme definitely helped bring this back to relevance, and that's fine. If that's what it takes to make it relevant, great. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. Also, quick side note, I know I said bye already, but quick side note. I don't really do television for this. It is usually a movie thing. But we're trying with this one, specifically because it's short and it's animated, it's really cool, and it's a new release. I thought it would be interesting. But really, because I want to try to do Twin Peaks later. I have to watch the show, but I want to try to do Twin Peaks because I really want to do a video on Twin Peaks before I do a video on the movie for Twin Peaks. So we'll see how this goes. If this does well enough, maybe we'll try it. I might try it anyway, but this is kind of like a test to see if, like, a television or like a show will work as well as the movies do. Not that the movie videos do very well, but, you know, at least they get some views, right? I don't want this to get like 0 views. I don't want to spend hours working on a Twin Peaks video, because it is a long, despite being 2 seasons, it is still going to be quite long. I don't really want to spend all that time doing that if it's going to get 0 views. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.